Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. Thought I would take the opportunity today to talk about a subject that's come up quite a bit in the comment threads, actually. That is, what happens if Robinhood becomes insolvent? That is, what happens if Robinhood closes? And sort of a similar topic, what happens if Robinhood steals my money? The latter, at least I think, is not going to happen. I put a video out a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, about the number of protections that are in place for all brokerage accounts, including the smartphone-only application Robinhood. I talked a little bit about the SIPC as well as the FINRA, a couple of different nonprofit organizations that oversee brokerage accounts. Essentially, all brokerage accounts in the United States are required to be members of both of those organizations, as well as the SEC also regulates brokerage accounts. So, through their surveillance and a number of different examinations they do, I don't think there's any worry that Robinhood is some sort of scam that's simply going to disappear one day with all your funds. But I do think there is a real possibility that at some point Robinhood may become insolvent. That is, they won't be able to pay their bills. With every transaction that's made on Robinhood, Robinhood uses a third party to buy and sell stocks. I'm not really going to go into the details behind that. It's quite complicated, but Robinhood pays a very small fee, but a significant fee for every transaction that happens. And since they don't charge us commissions to make those trades, they got to make that money somehow. So right now, there's a lot of venture capitalist groups that are funding Robinhood and supplying the capital to get it up and running. But beyond that, Robinhood needs to kind of think about how they're going to generate an income stream. And one of those ways is gold here. So I have the app up with gold up here. If I push on the Get Started button, you can see after this sort of free month thing pops up, there's a number of different tiers that pop up that have a fee. So essentially, it's margins account. You get some extra buying power. You can see there's three different tiers offered for my account: $2,000, $13,000, $24,000. It's just a way of Robinhood to make a little bit of money from its users. So you can see the $24,000 extra buying power tier, $100 a month, essentially a 5% fee. So it's trying to make a little bit of money to make sure that the company does not become insolvent. But if the company were to become insolvent, the stocks, the securities that a customer owns, as well as cash in their account is safe. So the SIPC, again, my other video went a little bit more detail behind this, essentially protects accounts like the FDIC does for bank accounts. So as you guys know, are probably aware of, any money in a bank is essentially protected up till $250,000 per depositor in each bank, and $250,000 per insured retirement account. So it's always wise if you have, for example, $1 million you put in 4 different banks, because each one of those accounts would be essentially guaranteed to $250,000. So if the bank folded, you're basically in the clear. So the SIPC also does this for brokerage accounts. So all securities and cash held in a brokerage account at a SIPC member firm, which essentially is required for all brokerage accounts, is protected. And the limits are a little bit more than the FDIC for banks. They're up to $500,000, including $250,000 in cash. So you're essentially protected. So if Robinhood were to become insolvent, your securities are not lost, your cash is not lost. It can simply be transferred to another brokerage account. Yeah, it may cause a little bit of panic and headache in the interim, and there may be some market losses because some of these stocks may have to be sold. That's just kind of the way it goes, but that money or that investment that you have in those stocks is not lost. So you may have stocks that have trended down, and you may have to sell those to transfer to another brokerage account. So you may lose some money in that regard, but the number of stocks you have as well as the cash you have, again, up to those limits I said, are protected. So yeah, I don't think there's any worry about Robinhood being a scam, as I mentioned in the last video, talking about the FINRA as well as the SIPC. But I think there is a real possibility at some point Robinhood may become insolvent unless it can generate a source of income. So I can see maybe in the future Robinhood actually implementing some fees for trading. I think very minimal fees, maybe 10 cents, maybe 50 cents per trade. But I think at some point they're going to be doing that once their user base becomes a little bit greater. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to survive on offering products like a Robinhood Gold here, margins account, and or other services they may come up with in the future. So yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about Robinhood. If it becomes insolvent, what happens to your money? There's a lot of resources online that kind of go through the process if a brokerage firm does close its doors, and some of the regulatory safety nets that are in place that kind of protect investors, how the transfer of funds works, how the SIPC coverages work, all those sorts of details. So if you're interested, I definitely would take a look at that. I think if you go to www.finra.org, they have a great overview of a lot of the things I mentioned in this video. So yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about Robinhood. Again, touching on if it's a scam or not, and touching on what happens if Robinhood becomes insolvent and the brokerage firm closes. So I know a lot of people have been hesitating on putting a lot of money into Robinhood because of those fears. I don't think you have any worry. I think Robinhood is just as safe as any of the other online brokerage accounts like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, or Scottrade. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. In this video. So I'll kind of end the video here. As always, if you enjoy my videos, feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you're so inclined. If you have any ideas for a video, let me know. If you guys have any big plays coming up this next week, let me know as well. Always interested. I'm actually going to dive into some of the comments and start replying. And there's quite a few comments, a lot of great discussion threads. So hopefully we can keep that up. I'm learning a ton from your guys' comments. Hopefully you guys are learning a little bit from my videos. And yeah, with that, I'll kind of end the video here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.